Wado. Izontu Ado. You can see the greetings. Ado, Wado is the same meaning. These greetings originally belongs to the Urhobo people, the Isokos, the Edo, Esan, Onwa, Esako, because they are of the same ancestry. Well, today I want to talk about the IJaws. But before I do that, I need to talk about my own people and the Isoko people. The Urhobo people and the Isoko people were formerly known as Urhobo people until a political separation championed by a man known as James Otobo from Uzere Kingdom. The word Isoko is derived from the word Isi Oko. We from Agbon Kingdom, we refer to our closest brother of the same bloodlines, of the same former deities. We refer to them as Isi Oko because they are far away from us and close to the water. This word did not originate from the present-day Isoko people. This word did not originate from other Urhobos. It actually came from the Agbon kingdom of the Urhobo people to describe their closest brothers, who are referred to as Eriwi, which we call Iri kingdom, Enwen kingdom, Uze, which we call Uzere kingdom. These people were all families of the very 21st Ogiso, referred to as Ogiso Agbonseke. Ogiso Agbonseke was the one who centralized all deities together as Akbobrisi into a tree. This tree is still found today in Edo South, in the place known as Ikbe, in Isoko and Urhobo land. So the word Isoko came from my kingdom in describing my closest brothers. It is not from them. It is not from other parts of Urhobo. So inside these Urhobo families, we have a certain people, their own brothers that are far away from them, describe them to be. From that, Enwe, Uzere, and Iri, there are other people of Urhobos who also created other clans that later became another kingdom. A time came, a particular man known as James Otobo championed the case and decided to join everybody together under the identity of Isoko to separate from Urhobo. And that became a separate ethnic nationality. The most ancient of Isoko is known as Erowa. Erowa were not referred to as Isoko people. They were formerly known as Urhobo people. It was later on they became Isoko when James Otobo succeeded in making sure they separated from Urhobo ethnic nationality. I'm going to explain these things to you guys. I talked about the families of Agbon, which is found in also where you call Uzere, Iri, and Enwe. These families are descendants of Ogiso Agbonseke. Ogiso Agbonseke was the 21st Ogiso. His elder brother was referred to as Odion. Odion was supposed to become the next Ogiso, but Agbonseke was the most favorite, and this became a problem. Odion descendant was the one that championed the movement that later led many people to move away from Aka land, precisely from Udo down to Oronigbe, met with the original Urhobos, and move away to what you call today as Erowa. So Erowa people you see today, their ancestors is referred to as Odion. Odion was the elder brother of Ogiso Agbonseke. Ogiso Agbonseke descendant is what you refer to as Agbon Kingdom of Urhobo, Iri, Enwe, and Uzere of Isoko. Thereafter, there are other people who also join from Aka's family, the Enwen people. So you as a person, you need to understand the context of prehistory. Once you don't understand this, you will mess up with our history. That is why today I'm going to explain deeply to you guys when it comes to the IJaw narrative concerning Ughelli. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to this history and make sure you share this history to every IJaw person. Thank you very much. Okay, now be okay with. Now, pay attention. The IJaws claim that Ughelli was one Tarakiri family, which is not true. I respect the IJaws so much because once upon a time, my ancestors, which are the Urhobo ancestors, Isokos, I told you guys, I just explained Isoko and Urhobo to you. They form an alley with that of the Ijaw people over 1,000 plus years ago. And this relationship has been there. Part of Urhobo became IJaws. Majority of them are the ones that are greeting Wado, Ado, IJaws you see today. Because when you go to Ijaw land, you discover that there are different greetings. But when you go to Urhobo land, it is one greeting known as Wado. So part of Urhobos became Ijaw. In fact, 24% of Ijaw people today are Urhobo people. But today, the Ijaws are telling us that Ughelli is one family of Tarakiri, which is not true. Let me explain the true identity of Ughelli to you guys. Ughelli was the second son of Ogogwa, and the brothers and sisters of Ughelli are referred to as Ogo, the eldest, then Ughelli himself, then Agbara, then Orira who gave birth to Orogun as a son, and Orogun became the founder of Orogun Kingdom. That is to tell you, Orogun mother was referred to as Orira, the only sisters to Ogo, Ughelli, and Agbara. Their father is referred to as Ogogwa. Ogogwa is of the same family to Ogiso Owodo. Ogiso Owodo reigned from 1059 to 1100 AD, the very last Ogiso. This Ogiso Owodo is seen as the 31st Ogiso of Igodomigodo Kingdom. I already told you guys the history about Ogiso dynasty. How it started from the very first Ogiso known as Ogiso Igodo from 40 BCE down to the very last Ogiso in 1100 AD. The very last Ogiso referred to as Ogiso Owodo, it was his name we use in naming almost every of our territory today. When you come to Ughelli, you hear Owodo. When you go to Agbara, you hear Owodo. Even the Agbara Warri Kingdom, you still hear Owodo. When you go to Olomu, you hear Owodo. When you go to Ewreni, you hear Owodo. Ogo, you hear Owodo. Today, one certain Ijaw said Ughelli is Tarakiri. No, they don't have any blood relationship with Tarakiri. Ofoni and the rest of Urhobo in Bayelsa State, they are not paternally Ijaw people. They are Urhobo people. It is the geographical location, which is called Bayelsa State, that makes them to become part of Bayelsas. Normally, they are not Bayelsa people. They are supposed to be Delta people. But today, they are indigenous to Bayelsa State. They are Urhobo people. Please, don't force my people to become Ijaws. They are 100% Urhobo people. There are so many things I wanted to say about Ijaws, but because I don't want people from the southwest and the southeast to be taking advantage of it, because when that is done, it will affect even to the Urhobos, because we are South people. There are many things I wanted to talk deeply about our ancient history to reveal out. You can see them. But because of it will cause damage to us. But it is the truth. But since it caused damage to us, I decided to stop. So our Ijaw brother, respect yourself. Ughelli is not the same bloodline with the Ijaw people. There is difference between Ovu, which the Shekiri people call Ogbelekokomio. There is difference between these things and true ancestry. Urhobo people don't do Ogbelekokomio. Urhobo people don't do Ovugu. We don't organize people to become indigenous to Urhobo. Everybody you see in Urhobo land are children of Aka and Idu. Precisely. And we carry the identity of the father of Idu, known as Erinwi. Erinwi is the final court of justice to Ogene, the four powers of this world. And the one who carries this identity is referred to as Aka. So we are children of Aka. However, there are some little Efas family inside the Aka, but we are all families of Idu and Erinwi. Erinwi is what we refer to as Ibaba Eriri, which means the glorious one, the one who had this profit, who had this gain from the four powers of this world, which is known as Ogene. So Ughelli by blood is not related to you, Ijaws. Same time, the Ijaws claim that their ethnic nationality has been here for 50,000, 100,000 years, which is not true. Let me explain to you guys. We talked about the great flood that happened around 2348 BCE. And our father Idu was around 500 to 600 years as at that time. When you calculate 2348 BCE to 2025, how old is this? As at this time, we never witnessed any ethnic nationality called IJaw. The people we witnessed are the people that were found in the present day Omola local government area of Kogi State. They call themselves Igala. And to tell you that it is true, two of our sons were born in that territory known as Efa and Emein. Their mother came from that place. And these two families made the rest of the families of Idu to become compromised. That is why you see differences between the Urhobo language and others. Originally, it is supposed to be one. This language came from Efa and Emein in combination to their mother's language and their father's language. There is no historical clarification, whether oral or written record, that talked about IJaws during the time of Idu. No, none. In fact, the flood that happened drove our ancestors some 20 kilometers away from the seashores, from the Atlantic Oceans. They were very close, 20 kilometers. This flood pushed our people away. So they decided to arrive at a territory which is known as Ufe in the present Omola local government area of Kogi State. So if you refer yourself as Ijaw people and you were living in that territory before, flood must have still pushed you away. But you never have any account of this history in your record that once upon a time you moved to the place known as Ufe in the Omola local government area of Kogi State. But there are many people who can testify to this, that it happened. That means Ijaw has not been in this territory before. But today there is a claim that they have been here for 10,000, for 100,000, for 50,000 years. There is no ethnic nationality in Nigeria that is up to 10,000 years. For your notice today, Ijaw people listening to this, it is false, it is fake for anybody to say it's up to 10,000 years as ethnic nationality. In the present day Nigeria, it is not true. You can tell that to other Urhobos, historians, Yoruba, Igbos, and the rest. Not Obrike Oroji. I understand the core prehistory of my ancestors. The Ijaws talk about the migration from Upper Nile and Lower Nile, precisely Upper Nile, which is referred to as Sudan. Let me tell you, black civilization started around 4100 BCE. Calculate 4100 BCE to 2025. You said you migrated from that place. If you migrate from that place, even if it is 4100 BCE, your ethnic group is not supposed to be 50,000 years or 20,000 years. But today you claim that you inhabit the Niger Delta for over 50,000 years, 100,000 years, which is fake. It is not true. There are many things I wanted to say about so many ethnic nationality to correct it. But because of majority of these people are found in the South, and when I'm doing that, it will affect me as well. I don't want the Westerners and the Easterners to take advantage of it. Because what I'm saying now, you will see this video will go viral by the Igbos and the Yorubas to fight against you Ijaws. So you should be very careful not to bring false information when it comes to Urhobo. Ofoni and the rest of Urhobos that are indigenous to Bayelsa State were originally Urhobo people from the beginning, and until today they are Urhobo people. Be careful. Stop disturbing the page of Wado City Aproko, Dr. Ejiro Mere, and the rest. That Ofoni, the mother. It is false. It is not true. The geographical location of these people, that is what is known as Bayelsa. They are not Ijaw people. Please be careful. I don't want any certain infringement between Urhobo people and the Ijaw people online. Because most upon the time, our ancestors collaborate together. They collaborated together and they formed a strong alliance to reject oppositions. Please, I am begging you, Ijaws. I can still go down deep to explain the story concerning Adumu, which you say Oduduwa. Oduduwa gave birth to Ijaw. And Oduduwa was the one that exists around 1070. If Oduduwa gave birth to Adumu, if Oduduwa is Adumu and gave birth to Ijaw, and Oduduwa was around 1070 to 11 something, that later became the ancestors of the Yoruba people today. You said it's the one that gave birth to one Ijaw. And calculate from 1070 to 2025. It's just recent. And he said it's the one that gave birth to Ijaw. How can this Ijaw now become 50,000 years in this Niger Delta territory? So even your historian messed up with your history. If truly you are that ancient, your historians dealt with your history. Yes, I saw a particular video from an elderly man from Ijaws. I just looked at him and I laughed. You know, most of you look at faces and this guy is a young guy. Oh, you are looking for an old person with gray hair to tell you history. Ladies and gentlemen, I am done for now. Ijaws, be very careful. There are many things I wanted to say concerning Obulu on Ijaws. There are many. But if I say this, it will affect you. And those people will take advantage of it. So don't use that same system to enter Urhobo. Urhobo people have Obruke Uroje. I am here. I am here. So don't do any stylish activities to penetrate through Urhobo history. That is not true. The story you said concerning Efroto and Uwie is not true. They are not Ijaw people. Yet, once upon a time, their father, which is known as Ofeni, married to the Urhobo people of Erowa. It was Erowa that later became Isoko as championed by a man known as James Otobo. Originally, Erowa were formerly Urhobo people. I told you they are children of Odion. Ofeni and Urhobo man, as at that time, lived in the place known as Ugoton. He went to Erowa and married there the daughter of the king of Erowa, referred to as Princess Igbide, and gave birth to Uwie, Otuomo, and Oporu. That Otuomo today became Lord in Otuomo clan of Ijaw. The people might be Ijaw people, but the head you are seeing there is of Urhobo people. Then Uwie, as the eldest, moved from that territory, married to 2 Ijaw women and gave birth to 7 children. The eldest of them is known as Imowe. It was Imowe later on that decided to say no, because Ovierubia was the king of Erowa after his father known as Ofeni passed away. Because after the king of Erowa passed away, known as Ughelli, then Ofeni was opportune to become the king. Ofeni was so great, influential, was a medicine man. People loved him. But the son known as Uwie did not carry the same power. So people were against Uwie. Uwie left. Until his son known as Imowe, the elder son of Uwie, later went to the then Oba of Benin, and he was incorporated into the Benin system, and they gave him a title known as Okponokpogbaji and Inyonikoko. That is a title given to military men under the Benin palace. When Imowe came back, Imowe became so powerful and carried his father, who left Erowa because he was not liked by the people. He left Erowa to the Ijaw territory and later on picked his father and took him back to where you know as Erowa, and Ovieruwia became king again. The title of Ovie now entered into Erowa. Ovieruwia reigned and died. The son of Ovieruwia is now referred to as Imowe and the rest. Imowe now pushed down and established Efroto. Imowe's sons later pushed away and established Eframe, which is known as Uwie kingdom today. So these people paternally are not Ijaw. Paternally, they are Urhobo people. Even the Isokos cannot claim Efroto and Uwie. It is their mother. And these same Isoko people were formerly Urhobo people. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand prehistory, the context of history, it is better you close your mouth. Let me stop for now. Thank you very much. God bless you.